My name is Lauren. I'm in grade 12 and I used to play competitive soccer and tennis, and now I do cross-country running and just running in general.
My name is Emma. I'm in grade 12, and with Ashbury last year I did cross-country running, I did downhill skiing, and I played rugby. And then before I used to be a competitive gymnast and a competitive cross-country skier.
Hi, my name is Farida. I graduated in 2024 and I played rugby, track, and tennis at Ashbury.
My name is Monica Kunstad, and currently I'm the assistant head of Gillen and the girls varsity rugby coach.
I think it's definitely can be very, very tough for a lot of student athletes, especially for females. I think there's a lot of pressures put on females in society in general, and then when you add extra pressures such as sports and school, it can be a lot sometimes.
It definitely takes a toll on your ability to self-sustain because sports is such a tasking aspect of your life. And especially if you're good at a specific sport and the coach notices that, they will pressure you into being the absolute best that you can be at that sport. But then you also have to remember the fact that you are still a student. And succeeding in school is also a part of your life that a lot of pressure is placed on. So I find that in my experience, it took a while for me to get to the point where I could balance it. And for a really long time, I would go for hours with practice at sports, and then I would like not have enough time to study as much as I would. And then I wouldn't do as well as I wanted to. And it would just make me feel like a failure in the academic aspect.
There was a period last year in the spring when I felt pretty overwhelmed with rugby and with school, especially because exams were coming up and like a lot of assignments. And so sort of what I did to cope with that is just to kind of prioritize. And I know it's like basic and everybody says it, but just to make a list and to understand that you can't do it all and you're not gonna be able to do it all perfectly, but just to try your best on things and know how much you need to do for everything and all of your commitments.
When I think back to when I was playing competitive sports, there was no conversations about mental health. We definitely had sports psychologists that would come and speak to us, but it was mostly about how to deal with tough situations in competition. It really didn't focus at all on mental health and the impacts that having, struggles with your mental health has on your performance.
I just remember sitting down and being so overwhelmed and almost like about to have a panic attack.
Lauren! Great work!
I think confidence for female athletes is always the underlying focus for me when I'm coaching, because there are so many different sort of outcomes of lack of confidence in many sports. So that's always for me, confidence, and I know that once an athlete feels confident in their team, in their coach, in themselves, then their mental health is generally can be improved or focused. And I think just having the sort of community atmosphere on a team where the athletes feel comfortable coming to either an adult or a fellow leader on the team, whether it's a peer or a manager, so that they feel that they can communicate if they are having some sort of struggles.
So I definitely think that there's a lot with team culture, supporting each other, because with for example, the Ashbury rugby team, I tore my ACL in the spring, and I felt for a while like, wow, I'm really not part of the team anymore. And I'm an injured athlete, and I knew that it was a long-term injury, so I knew that I wouldn't be playing later on. And that was just really stressful for me because it felt sometimes like, why am I doing this, right? So I think that the Ashbury rugby team is really great at making me feel like I'm still included and I'm still part of the team, and so that's really important. And then also just helping, like always being there for each other, because teammates, you do so much together, and you're kind of going through a lot of the same things. So you're all in it together, and it's really important to help just bring each other up, because if you give your friend a helping hand when they're down, they'll probably give it to you when you're down. And understanding that everybody just has bad days and bad times sometimes.
I think team culture is one of the most maybe the most important part of, I guess, fostering talks about mental health.
So I think for me as a coach, I try to have real connections with the players and not just on the field. I think it's really important to have the relationships off the field so that the athletes feel that they can come and speak with me. They recognize that I'm just another human just like they are, that I'm going to respect them. I'm going to listen to what they have to say. I'm always going to try to build them up. I think as a coach, too often the focus is on winning, competition, all those sort of attributes which are recognized as, you know, being successful in sport. But really, for me, sport is about the relationships, the effort, the commitment, you know, the lifelong benefits that you will get.
It's very important to have coaches that are there not only to like see you succeed, but see you grow. Like, for example, I'll take myself. My rugby coach is Ms. Kunstat, and my shot put coach, Mr. Landon, they're married, which is kind of ironic. So maybe there's something there. But I remember for all the shot put championships that I won, I know the ones that I lost. I know the ones that I messed up on. And I know how hard I how hard I hated myself and how hard I felt. Like I was like useless and I was like, I should just quit this sport. But it's because of the coaches that I kept on going. And imagine if I had quit shot put and rugby. That would have been like absolutely horrible. I wouldn't have been able to meet all the people that I met through it. And so I feel like, especially because they're older than you, they have more experience. It's very important to have coaches that are there truly just to see the best for you, not just for you to win all the medals out there. Because if you win all the medals out there and your mental health is absolutely horrible, it's going to mean nothing to you.
If I had a choice, I would want to be a coach, and I would want, if I had a daughter, would want them to be coached by a female, because there's nothing better than having a female role model in the place of athletics, because there are so many sort of touch points, especially for female athletes, like body image, confidence, you know, dropout levels in high school sports and the correlation that has to mental health, eating disorders. Like there are so many pieces of the puzzle for a female athlete that are unique to a male athlete that I think a female head coach and a female coaching staff is paramount, because they understand and they've most likely come from a world of being an athlete and transitioned into that coaching role. You think that you will be able to do your sport forever, and being on that other side of it where it's very finite. So I try to really instill in the teams that I coach that take advantage of these moments, because these moments are the best moments, and they're not forever.
Athletes need to know that they're being validated and that people can recognize their hard work, and while they're pushing them to get better, can be proud of them for who they are right then.
We are so grateful that we had the opportunity to meet you all, to play with you, to make new friends, and the best part is this, that we are bringing our girls together from different parts of the world, but what we all recognize is that we're very similar. We're very much the same, and the human connection is real. We can all feel it.